Alright. With your, let me look at this other tree. Scanning view, this is our lung here. So this is a human lung. Alright, so your trachea is going to branch into your bronchioles. Those are going to further branch into your terminal bronchioles that are going to branch into your respiratory bronchioles. Alright, so one of the main differences with your bronchioles. Well, I could show you the bronchiole on a slide by itself, all right? But if you're seeing it inside the lungs, well, we know that's not the trachea, it's a bronchiole. But another thing that you're looking for is it doesn't have C-shaped rings of cartilage. It has just small pieces of cartilage going around in the submucosa. Yeah.
Is that a bronchiole or a bronchus?
Sorry, this is a bronchiole.
No, bronchus.
The bronchus, yeah. So if you're seeing cartilage, it's still your bronchus. If there's no cartilage, then we know that we've gone down into the bronchiole. All right. So with the bronchus, I could show you the bronchus on a slide by itself, similar to the cartilage. So if you're just seeing small pieces of cartilage, then we know that's our bronchus. So we have our cartilage, we have our pseudostratified epithelium as well. Alright, so again you have your pseudostratified epithelium that we saw with our trachea. Alright, and we're just seeing these small pieces of cartilage going on. You also have a little bit of smooth muscle as well. But the main thing is going to be the cartilage, the shape of the cartilage. So if you see those large C-shaped rings, we know that's the trachea. If you're just seeing small pieces of cartilage, that's your bronchus. Alright, so sometimes you'll see that in the lung, sometimes you'll see it on a slide by itself. Alright, so just remember that you're just seeing just little pieces of cartilage. Alright, now with our bronchioles, the epithelium changes from pseudostratified to simple people. Alright, so if we see, let's look around here, we find let's look at our epithelium. Go inside. Alright, so what kind of epithelium is that? Yeah, that looks like pseudostratified. So let's look around to see if we see any cartilage. Alright, so even though we're not really seeing any cartilage on this one, because it has pseudostratified epithelium, I would say that's still a part of the bronchus. We probably cut through a piece that and it missed the cartilage entirely. But usually you will see little pieces of cartilage surrounding it. Alright, so I wouldn't show you that one as an example. Okay.
You're looking for bronchial?
Yeah, okay.
Stick down so I can see how all the word comes in.
Alright, so Alright, so how would you classify the tissue here? Simple cuboidal, right. So, we're seeing simple cuboidal epithelium, we're seeing a little bit of smooth muscle surrounding it. Let's look around and see if we see any cartilage. Yeah, it can be columnar as well. Alright, so we're not seeing any cartilage. We see our simple cuboidal epithelium, no goblet cells, nothing. So we know that we're now in the bronchiole. Alright, so that would be a bronchiole. Alright, now with your terminal bronchiole pretty much is the final part of the of that main respiratory tract there. It's going to start branching into your respiratory epithelium. So with the terminal bronchiole, you want to see it branching into the respiratory bronchiole to positively ID it as your as the terminal bronchiole. All right, so this one we're seeing that cartilage there. So that's probably the bronchiole. Alright, so with your terminal bronchiole, you want to see it branching into your respiratory bronchiole to positively ID that as terminal bronchiole. So what you're going to have is you have that simple cuboidal epithelium. Alright, so what you're going to see is your simple cuboidal epithelium, and as you move along there, you're going to start seeing the epithelium being interrupted by these little alveolar pockets. Alright, so once you start seeing that, we know that we're in our respiratory bronchiole. Alright, so I'll show it to you at low power and then show it to it. Alright, so this portion here, most of this is simple cuboidal. So this would be your terminal bronchiole. Then you see it start branching off into this part. So we see where the epithelium starts becoming interrupted by these little alveolar pockets. So we have our simple cuboidal here, we have a little alveoli here, and then we have a little piece of simple cuboidal right here. So this part here would be our respiratory bronchiole, whereas here this would be your terminal bronchiole. So you want to see it branching off. If you don't see that transition into the respiratory bronchiole, then you can't positively ID that as your terminal bronchiole. Alright, then once we get into the respiratory bronchiole, then you get into your alveoli. Alright, so these little sacs here, these are your alveoli. You have one here. Alright, so those are surrounded by your simple squamous epithelium. So this would be an alveolar sac. We have a few alveoli here forming kind of a little sac. We have about 3 or 4 of them here forming this little, looks like a little bunch of grapes. So that would be your alveolar sac. And then notice you have kind of this duct that's leading into the sac. That's your alveolar duct. Let's see if I can find it. Your little alveolar sac here. Alright, and then leading into that would be your alveolar duct. Alright, so the sac is pretty much the end of the your respiratory tract or respiratory airway. It terminates into your alveoli. So leading into the sac would be your alveolar duct. Alright, and then these individual little pockets or little sacs would be your alveoli.